John Lennon wasn't just a musical legend. He was a thinker, a provocateur, and a man unafraid to speak his mind. Behind the round glasses and poetic lyrics was someone who valued honesty above all else, even if it meant challenging popular opinion or ruffling feathers. While he publicly championed peace, love, and social change, Lennon's private reflections and critiques revealed a more nuanced side, one that balanced admiration with frank judgment. His thoughts on other musicians weren't merely casual opinions. They reflected his deep convictions about authenticity, creativity, and artistic integrity. Understanding Lennon's musical tastes and critiques gives us a glimpse into his complex personality, showing a man who celebrated talent yet demanded sincerity. Through examining the bands he admired, critiqued, or sometimes mocked, we see a portrait of an artist navigating a world he helped shape. Lennon's judgments were never shallow. They were a blend of personal standards, rivalries, respect, and a relentless pursuit of what felt genuine in music. The Monkees, manufactured pop, or genuine talent? The Monkees, the TV-born pop sensation of the 1960s, often received Lennon's sharpest early critiques. He saw them as a manufactured band, engineered more for television success than for artistic depth. To Lennon, who had fought for musical authenticity with the Beatles, this formulaic approach represented a type of creativity he struggled to respect. Yet despite his initial dismissiveness, Lennon occasionally admitted to privately enjoying some of their catchy tunes. His comments reveal a tension between cynicism and appreciation, a recognition that talent sometimes exists in unexpected places. Lennon's critique of the Monkees wasn't personal disdain, but rather a reflection of his philosophy. Music should feel real and unforced. He also understood the pressures of the entertainment industry, having been thrust into fame himself. This duality, mocking their manufactured image while acknowledging the challenges of performing in a commercial system, highlights Lennon's capacity to balance critique with empathy, showing his insight into both artistry and the machinery of pop culture. The Rolling Stones, rivalry and respect. Lennon's relationship with the Rolling Stones was a complex mixture of rivalry, admiration, and occasional criticism. While he respected Mick Jagger and Keith Richards for their stage presence and charisma, Lennon sometimes viewed their work as treading musical ground already explored by the Beatles. This didn't diminish their talent. Rather, it reflected Lennon's high standards and desire for originality. He enjoyed a playful competition with them, understanding that the energy between the two bands often fueled innovation. His critiques were never entirely negative. They were infused with respect for the Stones' ability to captivate audiences and maintain longevity in a notoriously fickle industry. This perspective illustrates Lennon's nuanced thinking. He could simultaneously acknowledge influence, critique technique, and celebrate performance. In many ways, his comments on the Stones mirrored his own self-reflection, demonstrating how artistic rivalry can inspire growth while sharpening judgment. Lennon's approach was never one-dimensional. It combined competitiveness, admiration, and a deep understanding of the challenges faced by rock musicians navigating fame and creative expectation. Led Zeppelin. Impressive but overwhelming. Led Zeppelin, with their epic soundscapes and Robert Plant's soaring vocals, elicited a mixed response from Lennon. While he respected the band's professionalism and business acumen, he often found their musical style overwhelming or overly theatrical. Plant's voice, in particular, seemed to clash with Lennon's preference for clarity and melodic simplicity. Yet even in critique, Lennon could acknowledge the band's undeniable skill and impact on the rock scene. His reaction to Led Zeppelin reflects his commitment to substance over style, a principle he valued deeply. Lennon's musings weren't about dismissing innovation. They were about personal alignment with artistry that resonated with him. He believed music should connect on an emotional and intellectual level, not just impress with spectacle. This perspective underscores Lennon's introspective nature, showing how he evaluated music through a lens of honesty, personal taste, and a search for authenticity. Even while finding elements of their sound excessive, he still appreciated the dedication, talent, and influence of a band that had redefined rock. The Bee Gees. Humorous critique meets respect. The Bee Gees, famous for their falsettos and disco anthems, drew Lennon's wittiest private critiques. He was known to poke fun at their style, often joking about their theatrical vocals and polished image. Yet beneath the humor lay recognition of their incredible success and the skill required to dominate charts for decades. Lennon's observations were less about disdain and more about playful scrutiny, reflecting his sharp wit and understanding of popular appeal. He valued artistry, emotional authenticity, and sincerity in music, and his commentary on the Bee Gees highlighted the contrast between commercial spectacle and creative depth. At the same time, Lennon couldn't ignore the dedication required to maintain relevance in an ever-changing music landscape. His ability to blend mockery with acknowledgement demonstrates his unique approach to judgment. Critical, honest, but never entirely dismissive. The Bee Gees became a lens through which Lennon explored questions of style, substance, and the balance between commercial success and artistic integrity, all with a twinkle of humor. Wings. Personal critiques and complex emotions. Paul McCartney's post-Beatles band Wings attracted Lennon's attention largely because of the personal history involved. His opinions on their early work were often colored by lingering tensions with McCartney and the complicated emotions surrounding the Beatles' breakup. Lennon's critiques were honest and candid, reflecting a mixture of rivalry, nostalgia, and occasional admiration for McCartney's continued creativity. He recognized the effort, musicianship, and ambition behind Wings, even if his perspective was influenced by personal dynamics. This duality shows Lennon's ability to separate the art from the artist, while acknowledging the impact of personal relationships on his judgment. Wings provided Lennon a mirror to examine his own musical legacy and feelings toward his former bandmate. His candid reflections reveal how personal history can shape artistic evaluation, showing that for Lennon, music and emotion were intertwined. Through Wings, we see his honest, unfiltered voice at work, navigating both professional critique and the echoes of friendship and rivalry. The Beatles. Love, frustration, and reconciliation. Arguably the most intricate of Lennon's opinions were those he held about the Beatles themselves. Fame, public expectation, and internal pressures created moments of frustration, leaving Lennon seeking space for personal and artistic freedom. He often critiqued the band's decisions or creative direction, not out of malice, but from a desire for authenticity and growth. His reflections show a struggle to reconcile immense public responsibility with private identity, and the tension between collaboration and individual expression. Despite occasional harsh words, Lennon's critiques also revealed deep love and respect for the band that shaped him. His journey with the Beatles illustrates an evolution from frustration to tentative reconciliation, highlighting his commitment to truthfulness, growth, and self-understanding. The complex emotions surrounding the Beatles reveal a man constantly reflecting on success, legacy, and the meaning of art, demonstrating that even legends grapple with vulnerability, compromise, and the search for genuine expression. Lennon's legacy of honest critique. John Lennon's musical opinions, spanning pop sensations to his own bandmates, were deeply rooted in authenticity, respect, and high personal standards. He didn't shy away from expressing disagreement or playful mockery, but his critiques were never arbitrary. They reflected a thoughtful engagement with music and human experience. Lennon's voice teaches us that honesty, even when uncomfortable, can coexist with admiration, humor, and empathy. His judgments highlight a lifelong pursuit of meaningful artistry, showing that true evaluation requires courage, perspective, and emotional insight. Beyond his public persona of peace and love, Lennon's private reflections reveal a man who cherished sincerity and creativity above all else. Whether celebrating talent, scrutinizing trends, or navigating personal relationships, Lennon's approach to music was a mirror to his own values. His legacy reminds us that authentic artistry isn't just about creating. It's about thinking, feeling, and daring to speak the truth, even when it challenges the world around you.